5, 4, 3.
Wow. To hear that brother, that talented, brilliant brother, express his reality, express his perspective of what was going on in his community. It's mind-boggling. It's heart pricking to hear him talk about the things that we know are true and are reality. A couple of things that he said that really gripped my heart. And he said, instead of following a legacy, I had to start one. Instead of being a part of an empire, I had to build one. And he said, that's tough for a kid to have to build an empire. My goodness. I so agree with that assessment. It is tough for a young person to have to build an empire, because young people are not supposed to have to build an empire. They're supposed to follow one. They're supposed to be a part of legacy, a part of something that began before them and will continue after them. And they are a part, a link in the chain that connects to both those that went before and those that will come after. And so the perspective of our young people, and the young people that have now become young adults and even middle-aged, many of us have had our perspectives tainted because we did not have the right information, the right impartation. Let me explain impartation to you, because it's more than just information, but it's really knowledge and wisdom and understanding from someone who has the responsibility of passing that on to you so that you can make a better life with it. There's this thing that it's a saying that I've heard it for years. Young people really like to use this saying. You have to I have to make my own mistakes, and that is a wrong perspective, in my opinion. Here's the reason why. If you learn from your own mistakes, then you are inevitably going to have to suffer the consequences of learning from your own mistakes. However, if you choose to learn from mine or from someone who's gone before you, you can take the good and leave the bad. You don't have to go through or deal with or suffer the consequences of their mistakes, because you were able to already see where that leads and what's going to happen. Don't get sucked into that belief that it's going to happen differently for me. That's one of the lies that the enemy causes us to embrace, is to think that we know better for ourselves. When the reality of it is that none of us know. We came into this world as a blank screen, knowing nothing. And the knowledge and wisdom and understanding that we began to get, we got from those that were closest around us, those that were in our sphere, those that were raising us, our parents, if they were there, or our foster parents, or whoever it was. For some, it's the people in the streets, it's the neighbors. It can be the drug dealer. It can be anyone, whoever is in your proximity that you are observing and watching. You're also learning from them, which means that they are teaching you, whether it is intentional or not. And so in many times in our inner cities, we see kids that are looking at those who have, quote unquote, made it. Those who look like them that have made it. And what they see is, rappers, ball players, and, those make up the biggest part of their, if you will, heroes. And drug dealers, those who have taken, if you will, they've taken. The problem is that they've taken from their own. And that is a result of the wrong perspective, the wrong thinking. Listen, if you are about to step off of a curb and I see a semi truck coming, and it is apparent that you are going to step off the curb into the path of that semi, and I yell to the top of my lungs, don't step out there yet. You have a choice. Because if you don't see the semi, and there's obviously a short response time, you can disregard my warning and step out there anyway. Or you can heed my warning and not step out there. And you may not know at the time you are heeding the warning why it's not a good idea for you to step out there. But just wait a few seconds and the semi is going to pass by, and then you will see why it was a good idea to listen to someone else. You learned from that person. You do not have to learn from your own mistakes. We choose to learn from our own mistakes. If you didn't have a father, hey, everybody doesn't have one. There is a father somewhere who can impart wisdom and knowledge and understanding to you. There's always the Father of all fathers, our Creator, God, the one who made us all. But not just Him. There is someone in your village, in your sphere, in your community, somewhere in this world that you can learn from as a father. You can learn from them as a son or as a daughter. You don't have to make it up as you go. You don't have to build your own empire. You can tap into something that is successful, something that is ongoing, something that will last, something that is sustainable, something that is based on a solid foundation, truth. These are the true statements. But then you may say, but I don't see that in my community. I don't see that. I don't see that kind of success. And I hear you. I really do. But I want to suggest to you that first of all, things are not always as they seem. And second of all, you can't look in two places and say that something doesn't exist. If you search for it, you'll find it. If you have a heart to do right, to be better, to grow, then you'll find the ways to do that in a manner that causes you as a person to expand, to grow, to develop, to become, and in turn, you learn the tools that you can teach to someone else that will help them, that will steer them in a way that's not just positive, but in a way that builds a legacy for someone else to be able to just plug into, so that they don't have to create their own legacy and build their own empire. We are all interconnected to each other. You know what? We actually all need each other. And if we understand that, if we begin to understand that and begin to surrender and submit to that truth that we need each other, and begin dealing with each other and treating each other as if that is true, then we'll find that we can actually solve many of our own problems instead of looking for and waiting for someone else to solve them for us. And we'll be able to do it in a way and in a manner that adds to, that advances, that expands and increases not just our own family, not just our own community, but even the world at large.